Hey, Kevin Lawrence here. Hope you're having a great day. This is a bit of an overview video of how to do your master plan or potentially update your master plan so you can do your best thinking for 2023 and up till 2025, maybe even the rest of your life. But here's some thoughts and just a refresher on some of the things we've been doing to help people with their own master plans. And we just did this recently at our own team retreat in September in Whistler. And one of our team members led us through a discussion where we did this exact exercise I'm going to walk you through, and even to the point where we're doing it with a buddy and discussing it at the end of each section, which I'll also share with you. So here we go. I'll walk you through doing your own master plan and encourage you to take an hour to 90 minutes. Do it with a partner. Do it with your partner in life. It could be a very valuable exercise. All right. So mastering your master plan. So we know that our job is to see beyond all the noise and keep our head out of the clouds to what's possible in our work and ourself and life. But there's a lot of noise, and sometimes we get lost in it and we just can't see clearly, and we lose track of the things that matter most. And even sometimes that's ourselves. A great quote from my book that I love. There's no in between with leadership. It either slowly destroys your life or it forces you to get stronger and smarter and more capable, which I think challenges are a great catalyst for us to do that. And life is full of challenges. So we have lots of opportunities to always get better. So the gravity of growth, which I talk about in my keynotes, is really about how our best performance comes in our sweet spot in the middle of the screen where there's a notable amount of stress. But sometimes there's too much stress and it throws us down into burnout. And if we don't get some help and get some rest and recovery, we end up meltdown where we sometimes end up with a crisis on our hands. And unfortunately, it happens more than we know because we don't talk about it, but I see it regularly, often with the most driven, successful people that I work with. And there's this thing called the mental health continuum I talk about in the book from the mental health associations of the world that can show the mental degradation as your brain and your body and your spirit starts to decline as you just get overcooked and don't have enough recovery or relief from the stress. This model is in the book, and it just shows how we change over time. I've done separate sessions on this, but you can read it in the chapter Manage Your Mental Health. The whole principle, though, is that we talk about work-life balance, and really it's flawed. One, because we don't want it, because it's freaking boring. Two, it leaves the most important part of the equation out, and that's us. And generally when we get in trouble, it's because we over-neglect ourselves, and we're so committed to our work and our life. And when the tough gets going, or the going gets tough, the tough gets going. And we start to self-sacrifice. We don't get the sleep or the exercise or the fun time with our friends or the quality time with our partner or our kids or our family. And next thing you know, our commitment exceeds our capacity and our capability. And we get squished, and there's this little tiny slice of energy left for us. And we wonder why we get burnt out and bonk and maybe don't feel so good or so motivated or very happy. It's because there's nothing left to fuel the tank. Our batteries are drained and we're not getting recharged. And yes, we're committed and we're making great things happen elsewhere. We're just hurting ourselves in the process. And the key element to protect and build your resilience is to figure out how you're going to dedicate 10, 20, 30% of your best energy to you so you can take very good care of yourself and be a stronger, better version of yourself at work and in your life. And really, the question for you to think about is, where are you sustainably strongest? What are you best at? Many of us that thrive at work, it's work. We dedicate ourselves and we often compromise in those other areas, but you might be different. So a great quote from the wonderful Jim Collins: greatness is not a function of circumstance. Greatness, it turns out, is largely a matter of conscious choice and discipline. And we've had sessions in his office in Boulder, Colorado. You walk down the hallway towards his boardroom. This is what's plastered on the wall. It's conscious choice and discipline. And that's what we're trying to do with this master plan tool, is help make better choices and build better disciplines to get what we want, whatever it is that we want. So in the book, Your Oxygen Mask First, 17 Habits to Defy That Gravity of Growth and Be Our Best and Stay in Our Sweet Spot and ideally live the life and thrive in our work the way we want. There's 4 drivers: energy, clarity, team, and growth, that give us a sustainable strength and energy. 17 habits within that. And again, we're down in our own growth and down in plan again. You can also go to oxygenassessment.com if you want to assess yourself on the 17 different habits and see where you stand. Also, if you want the audiobook, I'm happy for you to have it. I love the digital world, and you can have that complimentary. The workbook or the audiobook, lawrenceandco.com/O2 like oxygen. So plan again. How disciplined are you at planning and regularly replanning for work, self, and life? Not just one, but all three, because they're all required. If we look at the great wisdom from Sun Tzu in the book Art of War, victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then fumble around and stumble around trying to seek to win, and they often lose because they're not prepared. So the battle's won before you step on the field. 2023 is won before you start 2023 with your plans and your intents and your expectations and your resources. So the idea is just to have a simple, all-encompassing one-page master plan for your work, self, and life in one spot so you can stay focused and grounded on it. So we have a process. It's not rocket science, but it is a discipline which is required for greatness. Take work, self, and life, a column for each on your plan. You reflect on how you did, and then you map out your master plan. And every quarter, you do another mini reflection, and then you go and reset your goals for the quarter and just keep cycling and cycling. And at the end of the year, you go back and do a review of the year, lay out your master plan, map out your quarterly plan, and away you go, that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to do the first three. And it looks like rocket science, but it's not. Winning just requires the discipline to plan, and plan again. And it's the consistent discipline that makes it work and time to think. So the annual review, real simple. And we're going to give you a chance, and I would encourage you to take 90 seconds. I'm not going to leave 90 seconds of white space on this video, but you can just press pause for 90 seconds and maybe set a timer on your phone and then go to the next question. So we're going to review 2023. All right, first 90-second segment. In terms of your work, which we define as your career, money, and investments, cash generation, what were your biggest wins or achievements of the year? So starting with your work. And then for yourself, it's being happy, strong, and healthy. That's just you as a person, not your family, not your kids, not your parents. For your life, it is your friends and your family and your community. That's your charity work that you would do, and your parents and your kids and your brothers and your sisters and aunts and uncles. So for each of those three categories, what is your biggest wins or achievements of 2022? Set your timer for 90 seconds and away you go. All right. Next, for work, self, and life, what were your biggest challenges, frustrations, or disappointments? What just didn't go right? Set your timer for 90 seconds and think of the best thoughts you have on each of those. All right, welcome back. For each of work, self, and life, what were your biggest lessons or learnings you made from your mistakes? There's some things where you bumped into a wall and it made you a bit smarter. Take 90 seconds. Your biggest lessons that you came from your mistakes, or maybe they came from somewhere else, but usually from our mistakes. Take 90 seconds. All right, welcome back. Next question, passion ratio. How much of your best energy, passion ratios is chapter 2 in the book, is that we have our best, most creative, energetic energy. And how much of it do you dedicate to each area? Often I would have weeks in the past where I would dedicate 98% of it to work, and there was nothing left for myself or my family, which means I would show up, but I was there, but energetically, I wasn't bringing anything to the table. So passion, how much of your best energy did you dedicate to work, self, and life this year? And upon reflection, what would have been ideal? Take a minute and think about that. All right, welcome back. Final question. This is where the wisdom comes in. If you could do the year over again, what would you do differently in terms of work, in terms of yourself, and in terms of life? What would you do if you could do a do-over? Take 90 seconds right now and come up with the best thinking that you have. All right, welcome back. So that's been our reflection. And I'd like you to do is, with your best thinking, like these kids have here on screen, stop and have a chat with your partner. If you're doing this as a group, pair up beside someone. If you're doing this alone, maybe just make some notes of your insights. And if you have someone that you're paired up with, just discuss it with them for a few minutes. All right, let's go and now talk about your master plan and mapping out the masterful plan of what you're going to do with the rest of your life. And yes, you get a chance to reset it every year. Before we get into this, we want you to think big or bigger than you normally would. Take off the restraints, take off the practical thinking. What would you love to make happen if you had a choice? And if you could? The truth is you always have a choice. But what would you love to make happen? Second thing is, and what would make it freaking exciting? What would make it fun and energize you? And you would look forward to it, not just the practical, logical stuff. What would make it exciting and engaging for you? So we're going to walk through this document called the master plan. Again, simple. It's just organized and a discipline. And really across the top, we've got these guiding principles just to keep us grounded in stuff that matters. And then we talk about the ultimate in our lifetime, which is hopefully long. What you want to see in 2030, what you want to see in 2025, and then what you want to see in 2023. I didn't update this slide, but you can do the math. 3 years is 2025, end of 2025, and this year is 2023. So we're going to walk you through it one by one. And the first 9, actually, the first activity, I'll let you think about this later. And you can pull this. If you've done an exercise around your values, you put those on the left there, just to ground you in those. The sweet spot is something you could think about. Actually, I'll give you a chance to do it. I'll let you think about it. Sweet spot is chapter 4 in the book, which is really the things that you love to do and you're good at. It's the work that you do or the things that you do in your world that give you energy and you just love doing them. And then your always and never list is in chapter 13, things you won't do or tolerate. We call it always never in the updated version, which is, teaching people to meet your standards and what you'll always want and never want. It's kind of like what you're not going to tolerate list. And that's the model here for the sweet spot. So take a minute and just make your best guess at your sweet spot, the things you love to do and you're good at, and you would spend a lot of time doing, could be in work and in life. And then the won't do or tolerate list, or things that you will not do and you will not tolerate. Take 90 seconds and think about those right now. All right, welcome back. Now we're going to get in the fun part. This is the ultimate in your lifetime. This is hopefully 104 years old, sitting on the rocking chair at the front porch with your great-grandchildren playing around, just having had the life that you have no regret. One of my things is to not say woulda, coulda, shoulda at the end of my life. And so what I would like you to think about here is the ultimate in your lifetime in terms of work. And what do you want to achieve? Which is kind of the head and achievement. Experience or enjoy, which is more the heart, and then to be remembered for. What do you want people to remember you for? So for each of those 3, think about what the ultimate is. And there could be overlap between them, and that's okay. Don't get caught up in what box it's supposed to be into. So achieve, enjoy your experience, and be remembered for work, self, and life. And I'll give you 90 seconds right now. Take up to 2 minutes if you need it, and do the best work you can. All right, well, welcome back. Now that you know what you want to do with the rest of your life, let's go to the next step. 2030. Now we go back to those passion ratios that we had, and what percentage of your energy do you want to be dedicating to work, to yourself, and to your life in 2030? And then the single most important thing that you want to have made happen by the time you get there, the ultimate intention and the ultimate achievement for work, self, and life. And I'll take 90 seconds and think about that. All right, welcome back. Let's go to 2025. We want to get twice as good in 3 years. And ideally, for a lot of businesses we work with, they want to double every 3 to 5 years. So we aim for 3, that's ideal. So in 2025, what percentage of your best energy do you want to dedicate to work, self, and life? You can fill in the passion ratios. And then what's your number 1 and number 2 things you would want to make happen? And if we stood there and had a conversation at the end of 2025, you achieve those 2 things in each of work, self, and life, and you'd be thrilled. Like, this is winning, winning, winning. Take 90 seconds and put your best thinking in place there. All right, welcome back. Next, is we're going to look at this year, 2023, that's coming up. What percentage of your energy do you want to dedicate to work, self, and life? And then go back and look at what you said in the ultimate in your lifetime and 2025. With that in mind, what's the single most important things to achieve in 2023? Passion ratio first, and then with that energy in each area, what do you want to make happen? Take 90 seconds and do your best thinking. All right, welcome back. You probably had some great ideas and epiphanies. Stop and take a few minutes and talk with your partner if you're doing this with a partner, whether that's the person beside you, your partner in life, or a colleague that you're doing the exercise with. Take a few minutes and share your epiphanies or insights from the exercise so far. All right, welcome back again. So now we're going to go and set our goals for Q1 of 2023. January, February, March is normally, Q1 for a lot of people. The different calendars around the year, I know different parts of the world have a different version of Q1, but the first 3 months of 2023. And we know that, a quote from Mike Tyson, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. We're going to have to iterate these plans every quarter because things change in your circumstance and you learn things and get smarter. I call it iterating. You want your plans to iterate every 90 days, no matter what. So before we get started, think about what's the number one opportunity you have to make an amazing Q1 of 2023. Number one opportunity. Just think about that for a minute. Second thing you can think about is what's the number one resource you could leverage for an amazing 2023. Feel free to pause and think about that for a minute if you'd like. So number one opportunity and number one resource you have for Q1 or all of 2023. But ideally Q1. All right, so we're going to give you a little bit longer on this one, 2 minutes. But now we're just going to break it down to the quarter. And the first one is, for work, self, and life, what percentage of your best energy are you going to dedicate for Q1 of 2023? And what's your number one project you have for work, self, and life? Single most important thing you need to achieve in Q1 to kick the year off right. So take 2 minutes and think about that right now. All right, welcome back. You may have noticed a little dotted line there. And this is an exercise that we teach when we teach resilience rituals, but it's mine and yours. And when it comes to yourself and your resilience rituals, ideally, it's ideal to also know what your partner in life or key partner in business wants to do to take care of themselves, so you can support and make time for both of you to do what you need to do for yourself. It takes what could be perceived as a selfish act and makes it supporting of each other. So think about for a minute, what can you do to support your partner to get what they want? And you could just go and ask them what they want and find ways to schedule it, or hold them accountable, or do it together. All right, so now I'm going to give you 2 minutes to think about the other things you need to achieve in Q1. You notice that there's only 3 boxes for work, self, and life. Don't use them all unless you need to. But what are the other key things you would like to get finished or completed, or at least to a major milestone in Q1? Take a minute, or actually I'll get 2 minutes to think about that. The other things that need to happen in Q1. Go ahead. All right, welcome back. Moving on. We've got your key goals, your top 3 for work, self, and life for Q1 is a good start. But now we need to look at something called toads. Now, it's a chapter in a book that you can read, but toads are things in simple form that you keep procrastinating, but you keep thinking about them and they haunt you. So you've been dragging on them, you just haven't got them to complete, and they might be low value. It might be, a leaky tire in your car, or a squeaky door, or something that doesn't work properly, or a recall. In your home, it could be the bathroom door that squeaks, or it could be a toilet that doesn't work properly, or some touch-up paint you need to do. Or in your yard, it could be some stuff you need to get rid of, or in your computer, it might be filing that you need to catch up on. It's low value stuff, but it haunts you and bothers you. If it doesn't bother you, who cares? So I'd like you to think about a couple of the toads that you have that you've been procrastinating and it weighs on you psychologically. Take a minute and think about the top toads you have for work, self, and life. All right, welcome back. Now we're going to talk about the habit you want to start and then something that you want to stop, sorry. So what, and it might be one habit across all three, and that's fine. And it could be one thing you'd stop across all three. But what is the single most important habit you want to start or restart? And you could look back into the 17 habits of your oxygen mask first, and there might be a habit in there you want to activate. Recommend you look there. And then also something you'd like to stop doing. So take a minute or a minute and a half and think about a habit you want to start and something you want to stop. All right, welcome back. We're almost there. Final stretch. Action Jackson, time to get things done. I think Action Jackson was, I don't know where that comes from. It's a phrase I have in my head though. But that's great. And yes, I know it's not 2023 yet, but what could you do to activate or get things fired up to get some of these things started now? So I'd like to give you 90 seconds here just to think about what actions could you take this week to get the ball rolling on your 2023 goals that leads to your 2025 goals, that leads to your 2030 goals, that leads to what you ultimately want to do in the rest of your time on this planet. So take 90 seconds and think about what can you do to action and activate and get things going. All right, welcome back. So there you have it. I'd like you to think about what your number ones are in this, and then talk to your partner beside you. So take a minute, talk to your partner beside you, and what your number ones are for work, self, and life, and any major takeaways you had by completing the exercise. So take a couple minutes, talk to your partner. All right, welcome back. Well, now we've gone from, long-term planning to the goals for the first quarter of 2023. What I'd like you to think about is something that Mr. Productivity came up with. His name was Ivy Lee, and he was paid in today's dollars an absolute fortune for something that took him a few minutes to figure out for productivity. And you can look up the story of Mr. Ivy Lee. But his main productivity hack for leaders back in the early 1900s was to make a list every day before they finish their day. Make a list of the top 6 things they need to do tomorrow. And when they come in, work through number 1 and don't do anything else until they finish number 1, and then go to number 2, then number 3. A disciplined, focused list, not getting caught up on all the noise of everything happening. I add a toad on top of it because the toad or thing you're putting off most, usually if you do it first, it frees you up and releases a lot of energy, and then it actually gets done. So my encouragement for you is just what can you do to build a little task list every day? And my rhythm, I'm recording this on a Sunday evening. My rhythm is to build up my plan for the week of the most important things for work, self, and life. And then every day to have a mini plan of my top 6 things, usually 2 each. Sometimes they're allocated differently. But it's a simple thing of knowing the critical things every day to get done, and then let the noise be the noise and the problems be the problems, but your highest value things get complete. So why don't you take a moment now and think about your top 6 things you need to do tomorrow, and then share it with your partner. Take 2 minutes to do that right now. So a simple summary. Your achievements will be greater and your life will be, and enjoy your life more if you make proper planning and replanning an annual, quarterly, daily, weekly, monthly discipline. It helps. As we talked about up front, there's no in between with leadership. It either slowly destroys your life or forces you to get stronger. I see myself as someone that can thrive under challenges and pressure because I learn new tools and new approaches. And hopefully this tool helps you to get stronger and make sure that you are more resilient personally and that you achieve what you want in your life and in work as well. If you want more, just go to lawrenceandco.com, and I hope you find this valuable. Cheers to a great year in 2023. All the best.